Welcome back to Yusuf Reacts. Today, we're diving into the world of espionage, action, and intrigue as we review one of the most thrilling entries in the James Bond franchise, F-World Is Not Enough 1999. Directed by Michael Apted, The World Is Not Enough sees Pierce Brosnan return for his third outing as 007. The film is a roller coaster of action, mystery, and high-stakes drama, as Bond faces off against a villain with a nuclear weapon, all while navigating the murky waters of betrayal and trust. Bond is tasked with protecting the wealthy oil heiress Elektra King, played by Sophie Marceau, who has a mysterious connection to the villain, Renard, played by Robert Carlyle, a man who can't feel pain. It's a film packed with twists, emotional stakes, and of course, breathtaking stunts. The plot kicks off with a bomb going off on a Swiss bank, killing Bond's ally. This sets off a chain of events that leads Bond to Elektra King, whose family has been torn apart by terrorism. As he investigates, Bond uncovers a sinister plot involving Renard and a nuclear weapon, a classic Bond setup, but with some emotional depth thrown in for good measure. 11 years after the death of her father, Elektra is now an adult and fully involved in her family's business. But things aren't as they seem, and her relationship with Renard adds a layer of tension and complexity to the narrative. It's not just about saving the world, it's personal. Let's talk characters. Pierce Brosnan really shines in this one, who brings a level of emotional depth to Bond that we hadn't fully seen before. Bond's usual cool demeanor is tested by the emotional stakes, especially in his complex relationship with Elektra. Sophie Marceau is a standout as Elektra King. Her performance is nuanced, showing both vulnerability and a simmering strength. And then there's Robert Carlyle as Renard, one of the most unique Bond villains. His ability to feel no pain makes him both terrifying and tragic, and Carlyle's performance gives him a sinister gravitas. No Bond film would be complete without incredible action sequences, and The World Is Not Enough delivers in spades. From high-speed boat chases to intense shootouts, the film keeps you on the edge of your seat. One of the most memorable action scenes is the ski chase on the slopes of the Alps, followed by a thrilling boat chase through the canals. These scenes showcase the perfect mix of suspense, stunts, and adrenaline-pumping excitement that fans have come to expect from Bond films. Beyond the action, The World Is Not Enough also delves into deeper themes. It touches on trust, loyalty, and the personal cost of living a life of secrecy and danger. The dynamic between Bond and Elektra explores how love and betrayal can intersect in the world of espionage, leaving Bond questioning who he can trust. Bond is forced to confront not just the villain, but also his own vulnerabilities. It's an interesting evolution for the character, and it adds a layer of emotional complexity that sets this film apart from the usual spy thriller. James Bond uncovers a nuclear plot while protecting an oil heiress from her former kidnapper, an international terrorist who can't feel pain. James Bond Pierce Brosnan is back. After an oil tycoon is murdered in MI6's headquarters, Bond is sent to protect his daughter. Renard Robert Carlyle, who had a bullet lodged in his brain by a previous agent, is secretly planning the destruction of a pipeline. Bond gains a hand from research scientist Dr. Christmas Jones Denise Richards, who witnesses the action, which happens when Bond meets up with Renard. But Bond becomes suspicious of Elektra King Sophie Marceau, especially when Bond's boss, Dame Judi Dench, goes missing. Bond must work quickly to prevent Renard from destroying Europe. In Bilbao, MI6 agent James Bond Pierce Brosnan meets a Swiss banker to retrieve money for Sir Robert King David Calder, a British oil tycoon and friend of Dame Judi Dench. Bond interrogates the banker as to the identity of someone who killed an MI6 agent from whom the money was stolen in the first place. The money was paid by King in exchange for a report that King no identified terrorists trying to destroy his oil pipeline. But the report turns out to be from the Russian Nuclear Commission. But the banker is killed and Bond forced to escape. Someone unknown helps him escape with the money before he can learn At the MI6 headquarters in London, the money is revealed to be laced with explosives that kill King. The explosive is triggered by a lapel on King's coat. Bond chases the assassin by boat on the Thames to the Millennium Dome, where she attempts to escape via a hot air balloon. Bond offers her protection in exchange for the name of the real person behind King's murder, but she refuses and blows up the balloon at the cost of her life. Basically, Bond delivered the explosives right to King. Bond has a dislocated collarbone due to the incident, a secret which was known to select people in MI6. Bond traces the recovered money to Renard Robert Carlyle, a former KGB agent turned high-tech terrorist. Years ago, Renard kidnapped Elektra King in exchange for a massive ransom demand. The ordeal resulted in a failed assassination attempt by Mi-6 after M advised King not to pay the ransom, and left Renard with a bullet lodged in his brain, which renders him impervious to pain, as well as slowly killing off his other senses. Before the events of the film, he was spotted operating in some very politically dangerous countries in the world, including, but most likely not limited to, Afghanistan, Moscow, Russia, Bosnia, Iraq, Iran, Beirut, Cambodia, and Pyongyang to start funding his anarchist terrorist operation. Renard now seeks revenge on both the King family and MI6 for his death sentence, as the bullet will kill him when it reaches the center of his brain, a KGB agent turned terrorist. The amount recovered by Bond was exactly the amount of the ransom demand by Renard for Elektra. Following an earlier attempt on his life by MI6, Renard was left with a bullet in his brain, which is gradually making him immune to pain, but will eventually kill him, and assigns Bond to protect King's daughter, Elektra Sophie Marceau. Bond flies to Azerbaijan, where Elektra is overseeing the construction of an oil pipeline. During a tour of the pipeline's proposed route in the mountains, Bond and Elektra are attacked by a hit squad and armed, paraglider-equipped snowmobiles. Cue Desmond Llewellyn, Mi-6's quartermaster last appearance, are John Cleese, Q's assistant and appointed successor. A humorous James Bond refers to him as R if you're Q. Does that make him R? Bill Tanner Michael Kitchen, M's chief of staff. Miss Moneypenny Samantha Bond, M's secretary. Bond visits Valentine Zukovsky Robbie Coltrane at a casino where Elektra loses $1 to Zukovsky in a card game. To acquire information about Elektra's attackers, Bond had recovered a parachute branded with Russian Atomic Center anti-terrorism unit. After losing, Elektra says there is no point in living if you can feel alive. Bond discovers that Elektra's head of security, Sasha Davidoff Ulrich Thompson, is secretly in league with Renard. Bond kills Davidoff and boards a plane bound for a Russian ICBM base in Kazakhstan. Posing as a Russian nuclear scientist, Bond meets American nuclear physicist Christmas Jones Denise Richards. Jones is at the base removing weapons-grade plutonium from bombs and helps defusing them. Bond is taken underground to inspect the work done so far to certify it. He finds Renard working in the underground chambers. When confronted, Renard tells Bond that he spared Bond's life at the banker's office since Bond was delivering the money on Renard's behalf. Renard distracts Bond with the threat of killing Elektra and utters the same words that Elektra said to Bond at the casino. Renard escapes when Jones identifies Bond as a fraud and is attacked by the Russian forces. Protecting the base, Renard also knew exactly where Bond's shoulder wasn't healed. Renard removes the GPS locator card and weapons-grade plutonium from a nuclear bomb. Renard steals the bomb and flees, leaving everyone to die. Bond and Jones escape the exploding silo with the locator card. Back in Azerbaijan, Elektra has called him to take charge when Renard strikes her pipeline. Bond discloses to M that Elektra may not be as innocent as she seems. He suggests that Elektra was the insider who switched the pins on her own father and hands her the locator card as proof of the theft, and alarm sounds, revealing that the stolen bomb from Kazakhstan is attached to an inspection rig heading towards the oil terminal. The inference being Renard is detonating the nuke in Elektra's pipeline at the behest of the Russians, who have 3 competing pipelines and would be happy to see hers go away. Bond and Jones enter the pipeline to deactivate the bomb, and Jones discovers that half of the plutonium is missing. They both jump clear of the rig and a large section of the pipe is destroyed. Bond and Jones are presumed killed. Back at the command center, Elektra reveals that she killed her father as revenge for using her as bait for Renard. She abducts him, whom she resents for advising her father not to pay the ransom money. Bond accosts Zukovsky at his caviar factory in the Caspian Sea. He wants to know what did Elektra pay him for at the casino, and they are attacked by Elektra's helicopters. Zukovsky's henchman Bull was secretly working for Elektra and alerts her. Zukovsky reveals his arrangement with Elektra was in exchange for the use of a submarine captain by Zukovsky's nephew, Nikolai. The group goes to Istanbul, where Jones realizes that if Renard were to insert the stolen plutonium into the submarine's nuclear reactor, the resulting nuclear meltdown would destroy Istanbul, sabotaging the Russians' oil pipeline in the Bosphorus. Elektra's pipeline is planned to go around Istanbul, dramatically increasing the value of her own oil. Bond gets a signal from the locator card, which he had given to him from the Maiden's Tower, just before Zukovsky's henchman Bull Goldie blows up the command center. Zukovsky is knocked unconscious, and Bond and Jones are captured by Elektra's henchmen. Jones is taken aboard the submarine, which was seized by Renard's men. Bond is taken to the tower, where Elektra tortures him with a garrote. Elektra reveals that when her father refused to pay ransom, she seduced Renard and turned him to work for her. Zukovsky and his men seize the tower, but Zukovsky is shot by Elektra. The dying Zukovsky uses his king gun to free Bond. Bond frees M and kills Elektra. Bond dives after the submarine, boards it, and frees Jones. He wants to surface the submarine, but Renard attacks and destroys the controls, and the submarine sinks instead. The submarine's hull ruptures as it bottoms in the Bosphorus. Bond fights Renard and kills him. Bond and Jones escape from the submarine, leaving the flooded reactor to detonate underwater. Later, Bond and Jones share a romantic evening in Istanbul and end up in bed together, which is being monitored by MI6 satellites. So, does The World Is Not Enough stand the test of time? In my opinion, absolutely. It still offers a thrilling ride with great performances, memorable characters, and plenty of action. It may not be the best Bond film, but it's certainly one of the more underrated ones in the series. Whether you're a Bond aficionado or new to the series, The World Is Not Enough is definitely worth a watch. It has that perfect mix of adventure and emotional stakes that makes a great Bond film. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more movie breakdowns and analyses. And let me know in the comments